Legend of Korra Season 4, Episode 9, Beyond the Wilds. Now, I know a lot of people out there are still probably just waiting for Toph to just destroy Kuvira in next week's episode, I'm sure. But this was a really great episode. Last week we had the clip show, which really the creators had to do because of Nickelodeon and just them cutting the budget and just screwing us fans over like they typically have done the past couple of years with Korra. But this episode was a really great one. Like, it's not what a lot of people expected, I'm sure, with them having Kuvira versus Toph and stuff. But this was an amazing episode that finally let Korra get past the big issue, and she's no longer officially now. She is no longer fighting herself, and I hope there isn't another reason that comes up because it seemed like when she bent the rest of the poison out, that was it, and then she fought Kuvira, and it was like she went into the Avatar state and she freaked out again. So in this episode, we officially see her get past, like I said, I hope officially see her get past her, fighting against herself and constantly reliving the moment where she almost died against Zahir, and that, I think that just stands out the most because that was the most recent. Because really, she does almost die, and I think I mentioned this before, but she almost dies in pretty much every big final battle. But it was a great episode, and I didn't expect them to do it this way, but I loved it. We got to see Zahir again, and he's locked up even worse than he was last time. I mean, he was on the freaking mountaintop that had to have a bridge connected to it. Now he's locked underground where one door goes down and then the other door comes up. He's just, shackled and stuff. He can still fly, which I thought was really cool. It's like he can fly, so of course they have to put like the giant band around his stomach and have like these super thick chains so he can't fly around. So that was really cool, and that was definitely the best part of the episode when Korra went to him and he actually helped her get into the spirit world. And I think one of my favorite things about it is that when she mentions how he's the reason Kuvira is in the power that she's in, she's like, you killed the Earth Queen and then you created like the worst dictator the Earth Kingdom has ever seen. So thanks for that. And he was kind of upset about it. He was like, he's still Zahir. He's still the same guy who in the last season was like, I don't want any leaders or anything like that. And then it's like, man, I killed this one woman who was a leader, and she sucked. Of course, like we saw what she was doing. Like she would kidnap airbenders. Of course, she didn't help change anything as far as the inner rings, outer rings, and how the people would be like completely different social classes and stuff like that. She wasn't doing anything to help, so of course she was still a crappy leader. But it's totally different from Kuvira, who just like flat out took over everything. And so it was like, I've heard rumors about her and stuff, and he feels hurt that the plan that he had, like this big thing like anarchy, and anarchy is freedom and all that crap, him starting with his form of anarchy ultimately led to everything getting so constricted that it's worse than it's ever been. So I actually loved how he responded to that, because it's like, I did screw up like that. Me killing off one leader led to a leader that's a million times worse. So it was cool that he still was the same character. He hadn't changed or anything like that. He still wanted to get out and like kill a bunch of people. I'm sure he didn't say all that, but you could still tell like he just wanted to get out of there. He still had the same mentality and stuff. But it was really cool, like him helping Korra. It was like, we may have been enemies once, but right now we want the same thing. We don't want this leader in power. And like I said, if it went beyond that, he would of course say, I don't want any leaders in power, as I would take all of them out. But for now, taking out the worst one that the world has ever seen. Well, I can't say ever, but the world has seen this series. It was really cool how he helped her out, and then he helps her get through her big issues, and we get to see Rava come back, which is really great because now it basically officially says like once she goes, I don't know if it's going to be like the next time she goes into the Avatar state, but since she officially has Rava back and she can actually communicate, they can communicate with each other. Korra's gonna be able to connect with her past lives again. Like it's as simple as that, because that was the big thing. Like, you know, Rava was killed off and destroyed, and that destroyed the past lives. But Rava always exists. She's just, once she's destroyed, she's just like a little piece, and she continues to grow. So now that she's grown and she's at full strength now, which has been 3 years, so it kind of makes sense that she would grow strong enough to, yeah, at least be in the spirit world, maybe not like come out of it, but with Korra finally being able to go back and they can actually reconnect, that's really cool. So we're gonna get to see her connect with her past lives again, of course. Like that was one of the big things. I knew it was going to happen at some point, and this was kind of the big stepping point for them, saying like, hey, now that she's connected again, she'll be able to get her past lives back, which they'll probably save for like the series finale or something, just so we can see Aang again or something like that. But we're gonna get it for sure, and her and her avatar state is gonna be really amazing again because she's gonna be at full power. She's gonna have Rava back. She won't be burdened with the past and constantly seeing Zahir almost defeating her or anything. So I'm really excited for her to get to the end of the season and just take on Kuvira, and she's gonna go into the Avatar state and just demolish Kuvira by the end of the season. But a great, great episode. I love the stuff we got to see. John Heder or hear John Heder as like the lazy airbender and stuff, and he came back as like the tour guide and stuff. So that was funny to see, and we got to see some cool stuff with Jinora when she was like flying away from the vines. I thought that was a pretty cool scene. I think my favorite part is when she actually dodged the vine coming at her because she just drops straight and then she opens the wings back up and she's like super low to the ground. I thought that was a really cool shot too, but that was really good. Pabu and Bolin reconnected, so that was a nice little scene, and Pabu being Pabu. Bolin is of course going to be helping his girlfriend, or hopefully girlfriend in the future, get her parents back and her siblings. So you got like a metal bender, an air bender, and a lava bender going up against an army, and so we're gonna have like Korra going off against Kuvira, probably much later down the line. But then we're gonna have possibly next episode. It might be sort of a split between what's happening at the swamp and what's happening with Bolin and the rest of them kind of getting to the swamp. I think so. I'm really excited to see how that plays out and how crazy things get, because odds are they're gonna go in and it's like, all right, we're gonna take out a bunch of people, but at the same time, we're gonna end up getting captured, and then Korra's really gonna be stressed about who she has to go in and save, because it's gonna be three more people, plus the Sky Bison, who in this episode, I don't know if you guys noticed, in the scene where Bolin and Opal were talking and they did like the wide shot, if you looked at the Sky Bison, his tongue was just out, his nose was just runny, and it was just like really weird. Like he was just like, like, and just snot coming out of his nose. It was so weird to me to see that, but it was kind of funny because normally, you think of Appa and it's just like, I get an odd way to say it, but it's like he was like a professional Sky Bison. He just kind of did what Sky Bison do, and now they're in the era where they can just they're kind of just all types of things, and we know Avatar, so they give us these silly moments where it's like, here's sort of a super lazy, just runny nose Sky Bison just laying down, like legs just out, tongue out for whatever reason. But it was a silly little thing. But I enjoyed the episode. We got to see a really great moment with the leaders, which I really enjoyed, mostly because of some of the stuff that was said. It was very unexpected, particularly from the Fire Nation, and we got to see Azumi, and her big ploy for not wanting to go into battle against Kuvira is the history of the Fire Nation. It's like all of the last Airbender was her grandfather and her aunt just being terrible human beings to the entire planet. So and even beyond that, like her great grandfather, great great grandfather, and all that craziness. So it was just really cool that her main reason for not wanting to go into battle had nothing to do with, Kuvira, her thinking Kuvira was an okay person or anything. It's that Kuvira didn't really attack anyone else. So she's like, we're not going to go in unprovoked. And, when you, like, us looking at it, like, I know there are probably some people who think the same way. Personally, I think they've had enough time. Things have changed enough where people aren't going to be like, oh, here comes the Fire Nation trying to kill everybody. I don't think they would think that way, because things have changed so drastically since the last Airbender. And, I understand, like, her living in that life, her being a part of that legacy does give you a completely different mindset compared to, hey, we need some help over here because this one is, we have a new villain to take on. So, it's very interesting, like, seeing the dynamics from the outside and then being born into that, where it's like the only good person in your family really is your father, and like everyone else is just like insane or tried to kill like the planet and all types of craziness. So it's interesting to get her side of the story, where it's like, I don't want to bring up all these horrible memories of the past because that's what my nation is known for, and I can't just go in unprovoked. So that was really cool, and we got to see of course Prince Wu just being silly. I don't know, know where he thought that plan was gonna help, like you get a shopping spree idea. But that was funny, and of course, Korra coming in like you invited him, but not me, and that was just a really great scene too. But I love the episode overall. I think it was. I don't think it had any slow moments. I mean, of course, it didn't have Kuvira versus Toph, but this was an amazing episode, and it had a really great lesson that I wasn't expecting, which was, of course, Korra finally being able to get into the spirit world and getting over seeing Zahir all the time, ironically, by officially going to see Zahir, who was like once again in like the super long hair mode and the long beard and stuff. So it was really cool to see him in there, and he's just floating around and all that, just relaxing, just in the spirit world all the time. And that was another great thing actually when Korra was like, "You can get into the spirit world." The first thing I said, like I said this out loud, I was like, "Why wouldn't he be able to?" And it was just really funny that I mentioned that because and Zahir's like, that's your issues. Like you're the most spiritual person on the planet. You're in Republic City, which is the most spiritual city on the planet. There are vines and spirits all over the place, and I'm locked in like a dungeon. Who knows how many feet under the ground, and I can just like pass in and out, and it's just like coming off the last Airbender, that was the first thing I thought was like, well, so what? Like Aang could do it, like snap his fingers, poof, he's in the spirit world. But that's just not who Korra is. Even at this point in time, she kind of just sees things at face value. So I thought that was actually a cool little moment because it was just like knowing the Avatar series when she said that. Like even to me, it was just like, why wouldn't she be able to do it? It's it's an Avatar thing. It's not even an Avatar thing. It's just an Airbender thing. So I actually really liked that little scene just for how it made me think, and it kind of made me realize just how different Korra really is when she flat out asks the question out loud. Like we've seen it a bunch, but when she actually asked it, like, why is it so surprising to you? But I really enjoyed that. I can't wait to see what we get next week. But of course, comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about this one. Your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and what do you guys think about Korra officially getting over her issues and getting into the spirit world, and what do you guys think that, her having Rava back is really gonna do? Like, do you think she's gonna get to connect with her past Avatar lives, or do you guys think I'm just like completely wrong? Because honestly, it just seems like it would be the perfect ending to just have it where, if in the last episode she's fighting against Kubira, she goes into the Avatar state, or she's still losing the battle for whatever reason. Maybe she just gets outpowered. Maybe Kuvira is gonna have the Spirit Vine weapons, implemented, and that's gonna take Korra out of the out of her Avatar state or whatever. And then that's how she ends up connecting with her past lives, because it's like a mix of her, just her Avatar spirit mixed with the vines and purified or whatever. But I feel like that's how it's gonna play out. But of course, comment below, let me know what you guys think, and thanks for watching.